feeling I must ever had. Don't let me tell you, so music so bad. Worst school feeling I most ever had. Love you, baby. Leaving in the morning if I have to. I'm blind. Well, I've been mistreated and I don't find I'm home. Even if I have to, I'll be blind. Well, I've been mistreated and I don't find time. I don't find time. Breaking on a dollar more steady. Where she goes, she gotta do. We're gonna head down to it, low. Breaking on the dollar more steady. Where she goes, anywhere she goes. You know, up this morning I felt around for my shoes. That's when I knew I had them on. Walking blues. Up this morning I look around my bedroom. That's when I knew I had my feet on water. Whoa. 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 to the bone of the breakfast face. Tough center, the extreme. When the smoke is clear, she said, that's what she said to me. Oh, I want a man, then you're there, and a little sympathy.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Coding with the Dead, part of Studio Remote. My name is Moacir Pereira. I am to turn the volume down my headphones a little bit. I wasn't about to interrupt that song to say hello and talk about things, so I forgive my being 4 minutes late. I can't. For chat for me, it says chat disconnected. Please wait while we try to reconnect. So I saw that Lox is in the chat room. Welcome back. Their presence is always look forward to eagerly, I guess. Appreciate it. That's the better word that I was looking for. And Jeremiah said that he's listening too, or was listening or watching or whatever. So welcome, Jeremiah. Slowly, a little audience maybe is growing here. The last couple of episodes have been kind of meta episodes because they've been a lot about trying to imagine what my interest is in TypeScript and how it can start playing a role, a larger role in the Ember community, etc. That all is still going strong, and a lot has been done just this week. My pull request for the blueprints is apparently getting closer and closer to being implemented, which means that the Embercly TypeScript blueprints will be creating Octane-aware TypeScript blueprints, which is great. And then, but they don't actually type check them. So if you use them, if you use the blueprints from the version that's in the pull release, and then immediately launch your app, it's not going to work because it failed type checks. So I spent a good part of the weekend rewriting those blueprints. They're not in the pull request, but rewriting them. So wait, I said this wasn't going to be a meta thing. Y'all don't want to hear about all this stuff. Anyway, I have also started kind of working on, or returning to an old project of mine that I want to describe in a brief little second, because it'll get to point 1 here. Update embroider on Wandertext. Where was I? Okay, so if I switch over to the browser, before I switch over, hiding Windows and stuff department. Okay, so let's go to my Mac and have a look at what's going on here. So I created this app in 2018, and from my recollection, I did it in a day. I guess I can look at here. So yeah, so there are 41 commits, and okay, so May 14th, May 14th, May 14th, May 14th, May, yep. Okay, so alright, so I misremembered. It wasn't exactly a day. I started it on May 10th, 2018. And had probably a pretty good... Had a pretty reasonable... Yeah, so it was about a day. I started May 10th, and by May 11th I had something that I was pushing, quote-unquote, to production and sharing with people. And the story behind this is a little bit funny. It all started with Scottbot on Twitter had asked for, was wondering about a way to like geocode stuff that isn't using, that isn't on a real map. And anti-rubbish, so I was just like, oh, I can make that, and it'll only take me like a day. And it's true, it did only take me like a day. But it's old tech. Like, I couldn't even believe looking at this, how old some of this tech was. So first off, it's in Sinatra. And this is probably the last thing I ever wrote in Sinatra. But not only that, I mean, that's okay, whatever. But then when I was looking at this old code, I wrote all this stuff in Slim. I don't even know where to look for like documentation on Slim. I can hardly, if I'm lucky in that Slim is exceptionally readable. So it's pretty clear what's going on here, but I just have no idea. I just don't remember this at all. But, it's okay. And, I mean, I gotta say, this is kind of very readable. Maybe I should get back in on the Slim train, in some way. So, but what it does is you upload a file and then you add a bunch of place names, and then it shows you the file on screen, and you tap or you click on the screen where each place goes, and you end up with this. You know, here's a fake map in Leaflet with these 4 little points, and if you click on them, oh, this is Sartorius Plantation. It's a fake map in the sense that it's a place that doesn't exist. This is Faulkner's Yuctanapatawa County in Mississippi. It's from one of his novels. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. And if you can click around. Anyway, I had a conference two weeks ago, and it was very and after the conference there was a workshop, and or not a conference, I think it doesn't matter. And there was a workshop, and I showed this, and it was the students were really interested in it, but it's like a little bit broken, and it's old. It doesn't let you do a whole bunch of stuff here. So you know, I got a little bit cranky about it, and it just looks old, like all this like bootstrap stuff, and you know, that relies on jQuery. Yuck. So I started redoing it, and turning it into an Ember app. And so once you turn it into an Ember app, it looks well, this folder is still here. But once you turn it into an Ember app, a whole bunch of different stuff changes, of course, and I'm not going to show you what it looks like in Ember yet because it's not even close to done. But among the other things is it has like drag and drop functionality, so that's what I was working on late last night. So that if you drag and drop a picture and a CSV, there's this little thing that tells you the names and the size and everything that pops up, and then you upload them, and they all go to a backend where the image is chopped up into tiles at different zoom levels, and then it's all returned to you, and that part is the sending it off to the backend. That part is all done. The getting it back and then building the map, etc., isn't, but that's not super complicated. Like, none of this is complicated. It's just having the creativity or whatever it is to think to do it. Anyway, last thing I did last night was I was like, okay, I'm sick of working on this thing with like absolutely no CSS whatsoever, because some of this kind of UI stuff that I can see in my head, I need to already start CSSing things. Like the drop zone, I have to like make it the width of the screen or whatever, make it clear that it's a drop zone, and I was about to start typing up just plain CSS, and I was like, no, like, I'm just going to turn this all into Tailwind later. So I was like, well, what's the story with Tailwind and Ember right now? And I went over to Discord, so nobody's on blast and appears live. And this user, Evo, posted a sort of cheat sheet on how to get Tailwind, the current version of Tailwind, to work as a post-CSS plugin, so that it auto update the just-in-timeness, so that I don't know if I have this completely right, but from what so the way Tailwind used to work is, or maybe does still work or something, but it's a JavaScript thing that looks at a bunch of CSS and takes all these different little classes and puts them all together into a small, tiny little CSS thing. And the whole point of it is that, there are a lot of points to it, but the newest version of Tailwind, I can't remember what we're up to, 4 or whatever, has this just-in-time functionality here that lets you has this just-in-time functionality that lets you that just keeps recompiling the CSS. So if you add a class, a Tailwind type class that hasn't been put into the CSS but you haven't used it before, like wfull, then it'll recompile all the CSS and include the wfull. So that's a pretty neat effect, because so you start out with like 0 CSS, and slowly you pick up this is how I understand it at least, slowly you pick up just the CSS that you're actually typing in. This is in contrast to how Tailwind used to work, which, like, that was the way it was always supposed to work. But then it sort of felt like a lot of that addition was being done in the config file. So meaning if you're just like sort of messing around and you want to like try different widths and whatever, you have to have all of those widths in your config, in which case, why are you even bothering? You know, like it just got really heavy. Whereas now I think it's like referring to some kind of Tailwind like existing registry or whatever of classes, and then it just builds them on the fly for you. But this is notoriously tricky to do with something like Ember, because this is a very Ember unaware way of doing things. So there are a couple different ways to do this, but the last one I tried didn't work for me at all. So so late last night I asked Discord, by which I mean I did a search. I just did Tailwind, and I found this. So I thought I'd start with this today. I guess like it took me 15 minutes to explain what I was going to start with. So this says there are 2 steps to this. I have to update Embroider, and I then have to do this stuff. So in order to update Embroider, what I can do, because I already did all this on the anti-rubber sheeter and already pushed everything, I can just copy the stuff. So this one. Okay. So then we have so here I am in Wandertext, and I know there's a couple things I have to add to the package JSON. I don't need to have 2 windows here. I can just do this, of course. So if I scoot down here, I know that there are a couple things that I had to add to the dev. So the first is Embroider has to get updated. So maybe I'll highlight it here. So Embroider over on anti-rubber sheeters at 1.50. I'm pretty sure it's nowhere near there on here, if I even have it in here. Embroider, yeah. Okay. And Embroider is the new build, the sort of like build spec for Ember that I incorporated like a year ago or something. I haven't come back to here. Auto prefixer, it's going to complain. I don't have it, so it's all right. There's a lot of upgrading that I'll have to do here. I won't do it now because I know it's a pain, but post CSS loader. That's new. And I think that means I can get rid of these 2. Let's keep them here just in case. Tailwind, let's boost to 2, 3.
By the silver stream, I can tell by the marquee that you're in his dream. Hard shot, jump Lost now on the country miles in his Cadillac. I can tell by the way you smile he's rolling back.
Okay. So now we have this all installed. Right?
That's
an easy way to ask. What are the changes that I made here? Files. This is styling. Auto prefixer. Update webpack.
Fire the seabirds, scatter like lost birds, wheel till the storm and fly.
Okay, so those changes are all in. Let me see. I think they're... Okay, yeah, so this is good to go. So let's just commit package JSON and then yarn. Config. Okay, and then we have what else is in this config? So we need a post CSS config.js. So this is the one that Evo put in, which had a bunch of libraries I haven't heard of, and I meant to go look at them, but then I fell asleep. So post CSS config.js file. So like this thing, simple vars, hex RGBA, I don't know what that is. Ease and I mean, I can guess what hex RGBA and ease and gradients are. Font magician, no clue. Responsive type sounds like something I'd like, so I may have to. I'll have to check these out, but I won't check them out right now. The other thing that's being done here is that the Tailwind configuration is being loaded. It's in the root of the application. So I currently have my Tailwind configuration in a folder called App Tailwind. But yeah, let's move it on out. So copy, or actually let's move App Tailwind config JS2. Oh. No, I know why I do it this way. There's a very good reason why I do it this way. So my config file relies on some there are some dependencies, and my stream seems to be going, but the thingy isn't. My little concurrent viewers thing is stuck at 3 o'clock. Oh boy. I may have just ruined my stream. Over here, just I got kicked out of my account. So that's probably why I couldn't connect to the chat. Alright, now I can see things. Yeah, I got kicked out of my account for some reason right at 3 o'clock, so everything broke. So now I see that Jeremiah wrote in chat that he's never heard of Slim. So Slim is a sort of like I said, I don't even remember. Like back when I was just cranking out Rails and Sinatra projects for fun. Okay, so it's just for Ruby. Yeah, okay, I remember seeing all this stuff a million years ago because I think there was a way that there was like a little interactive thing. So what it does is it is, turns this into HTML, and it works really well. So this is a replacement for ERB because I basically never learned ERB. That's all there is to it. And I found this to be much easier to read and understand than ERB. So that's why I use it. So I guess there's no real way to bring this into an Ember type environment. I don't think anybody's particularly interested. As you can imagine, it is like Pythonic in the way that it relies on whitespace use to break up blocks and it handles inheritance with whitespace use, which would probably give a couple people like howling fantods, but there we go. So that's Slim, slim-lang.com. So I moved to Slim after using Haml. So this is what I used to use back when this is a very, very changed website from what I understand. I remember their website as being ridiculously bad, like as a point. So again, Haml is just another kind of indenting-based markup thing. Also, I guess just for Ruby, because you take this ERB. It's like all these little operators. Typing this less than %equals. It's not fun. So I much I think that this getting rid of all these, getting all the pointy brackets, as they say in England, was a huge thing. Oh, Lux says that there's something similar for Ember. Yeah, I mean, I don't like I said, for me this was really useful in the Ruby days because typing these is just a pain. Like even the blueprints use a templating language like this, like the Ember blueprints use something like this. I don't know what it's called. I don't know if it's just straight ERB or whatever. It's just, no, it isn't, because it ends with an equal sign here. That's just, oh, I should make this larger so people can see it. And yeah, I mean, it's just not for me. Anyway, back to Tailwind. All right. Oh, well, obviously the stream is working if Lux is responding to what I'm saying. So, okay. So then there's this Tailwind config. Let me just copy this and then, well, I don't need to do it this way. I can do it this way. Oh, okay. So the reason I have Tailwind in its own folder is because it imports something. And, I mean, I guess I could just, write the import differently, but I don't think it's hurting anybody for it to be here. But I will rewrite the config so it looks more like the one in the anti-rubber sheet. So, what are the main differences here? Okay, let me strip them. Let's just copy these things. And so what is happening here is the content is being made out of this app entry string and this string that has the relevant files glob. So this means that Tailwind should pay attention to HTML, okay, sounds good. JS, okay, sounds good. TypeScript sounds great. HBS, also great because that's what we're doing in Ember. And then GGS and GTS, which don't exist yet, or at least not for me. Those are the templating when we start having in one file. What's it called? I don't know, but when we start using the template brackets in our files, to have the components be in one file, so that the components template and its like logic is all in the same place. I can't remember what that's called. And then there are a couple lines here. Okay, so the font family, not terribly interesting in plugins. So we have screens, colors, font family, and nothing for plugins. Let me just add the plugins line. And then there's no. Okay. So I can just do this way. Well, it's not hurting anybody to do it this old fashion. Okay. So hopefully there'll be an amazing side effect from this that I saw last night, and it just flipped out. Okay, so that's that. Then we need the post. Nope, I already did the post CSS config. Then Ember CLI has to be updated too. So currently there's, all right, this is leaflet stuff. This all changes because these post CSS options are no longer here. They are rather options that are passed to Webpack, if I have that correctly. Now I can see what I did here. So currently all this post CSS stuff is coming in here. It's being passed in to, you know, this is stuff I don't completely understand, but these are things that where you pass certain kinds of configuration thingies to the Ember app, to Ember CLI when it's building your app. And I'm not going to need this anymore now. Whereas the way that it's in this file is that it's being passed in as a module, or not a module. So first off, there's this module. So what is this doing? It's doing a test for CSS files, and then when it finds CSS files anywhere except in node modules, it uses the post CSS loader and does stuff using post CSS config.js. So that's where the plugins are being defined, as opposed to here, which is how I used to do it. So I can get rid of all of this stuff because I don't need it anymore. Or rather, it's in the post CSS config file. And if I scoot down a little bit, oh no, that's everything. All right, now I just have to figure out what is wrong here. Ah, there we go. Should be right, and then this, and then that closes that. Match, resolve, and module. So this closes Webpack. Green closes Packager Options. And orange closes the bill. It was fine. It was just one a comma and one a semicolon. Okay, so now I have to go back and change the post CSS config because it is looking for tailwindconfig.js, which doesn't exist. Instead, it should be looking for app tailwind. I think that's it. This, did this, did this, did all this. Make sure that I'm doing this. So in the example, so I guess that's one way to find out if it works or not, is to see if I can use the tailwind commands here instead. But let's leave it as is, because I don't think this is hurting anybody this way. And let's see what happens. Provide at least one plugin in the plugin array. So this is I'll get to these TypeScript errors in a second. Build error, at least one plugin in the plugin array. So I don't think that that's in the this is what it's complaining about. But just in case. Okay, a couple things. So let's make sure that these are all okay. So this doesn't have Embercleave post CSS in it anymore, and that means I don't need this anymore. This is an older version of post CSS, so let's update the version. Post CSS loader, okay, and then let's get rid of these two because we're not using them anymore either. And then Tailwind is, I updated Tailwind already. Okay, so this is a slightly friendlier error in the sense that it kills everything. But I know the solution because I had the same exact problem yesterday on the other computer. This is going to take forever. I was just about to give up and say, oh, nope, it still has to do stuff. So now I think it's just going to, why is it updating Ruby? So yeah, like I said, this took me forever last night, so I might as well just hide it a little bit and talk about something else to sort of provide a little bit of entertainment here. So Leaflet has a new version coming out. So, Leaflet's coming out with a new version, 1.8.0, and there's like a bunch of changes that I haven't thought about I haven't looked into this super carefully. I'm gonna wait until it's officially out so that I can sort of like I don't know what the paths that a lot of these changes have taken, but what was exciting to me was seeing this accessibility section. So let me just sort of read out what kinds of things they have here. So they're going to auto pan to markers on focus by default for improved keyboard operability. So this blows my mind because as far as I know, there isn't. Whoa. Okay, so I guess. Okay, but so I can tab around, but you know, wow, that works. Just never used a keyboard before with Leaflet, but wow, that works. That's pretty exciting. So this is 1.7.1. So you can see that I can tab around these markers, and then when I'm on one, if I hit enter, then it shows me the pop-up. So enter is like, and then I can just keep doing this all day to open and close the pop-up. So that's anything that saves you from having to move your hand to the mouse is good from a perspective, unless you're just like always on the mouse. Alright, accessibility section to plugins guide. Okay, that'll be cool to look at. Update marker to default roll button and alt marker. Okay, good. So for screen readers. Then outlines, enhancements to the pop-ups close button. That's good too. I'll have to look into these things because Wandertext, of course, relies on has pop-ups and leaflet stuff and whatever. So these kinds of accessibility additions are it's just in time. Apply hover styles to focus as well. Okay, great. Use relative font size units for resizable text. Always great. Hide the decorative attribution separator from screen readers. I guess that means, like here I don't have any attribution, I just have leaflet. And the new version of anti-rubber sheeter is going to have an attribution for anti-rubber sheeter. So that separator, it's not going to be like copyright 2003, Esri, pipe, NASA, pipe, or whatever it is. I'm just assuming that's what it's going to be. Make the disabled state of zoom controls available to screen readers. So I can zoom in. Whoops. Oh wow! I've just never done this, but now can I move around? Oh, I can even move around with a keyboard. This is wow. It's just the sort. That's the plus. Get it to, it's like I can't get it to go back to, like there should be a way for me to be able to escape and just get back, to bring focus back to the map as a whole. That doesn't seem to work. So the arrows don't work here. If I keep tabbing, now the arrows work. But the second I tab, and now I'm focused on this marker, and that doesn't help because I can't even see the. There we go. And so if I escape, surrounding escape and nothing's happening. So, in my opinion, escape should return focus to the map as a whole. Maybe they say something like that. Generally enable outlines for keyboard users. Hide the plus minus characters and accessibility is always so tricky to remember. Just 'cause I tried to get a screen reader to work once. So this is still going. QT. Enable PHP in Apache. PHP, what is it installing? Why is it installing Node? I already have Node installed. MySQL. I guess somehow I told Homebrew just to upgrade it. That might be it. Well, on the other hand, I can probably just do this.
Strange shadows from the flames will grow to things we've never seen that seem familiar. Shadows of a sailor born is profound, and they're all sworn down in Carlisle. He loved a lady many years ago. Stands a man, a soldier from the looks of him, that came through many fights, but lost in love. While the story tells,
That's not good.
door within the fire creaks, suddenly flies over, and a girl is standing there. Eyes alive with glowing hair, all that fancy face is fair. She takes her hand, throws it, and the light's dead. Which view to gain me tell? Risk uncertain pains fail. I will not forgive you if you will not take the chance. Stay in the cave that leads the child. Soldier being much too wise. Strategy was his strength, not disaster. Stands today, you decide if he was wise. Storyteller makes no choice.
Okay, well, that solved that problem.
His job is to shine right.
So, this... I was expecting it to complain that an import was showing up not at the tippity top. but it doesn't seem to be complaining. And I mean, it's crashing, so. So, the CSS is clearly not loading. Oh, that's right. There was one step missing. Might be why they were doing this way in the Discord. So the way they did this, they created a new folder. I thought I could skip all of this. Just called Style. And then they created a file inside Style called Styles CSS. And then let's just read in the styles file. Let's just read this in underneath fonts. Just ride with this. And then So what the step that I was missing, just to explain what's going on here, is there's styles app.css, which is where I always put all my CSS traditionally. So that imports stuff like all the different stylings for all the different components and everything. But in this example from Discord that Evo put up, there was a instead of app styles app.css, they created a file called appstyle/styles CSS. And if you look at the Ember, like just the regular index.html, then it opens up, you know, it has this, not here, this like root URL assets wandertext.css. And I don't know precisely how Emberclee does this or whoever or whatever, but in my understanding, that's a compilation of everything in app styles. So instead, when you have app style, then that's just like Emberclee doesn't know anything about that. And what Evo did was imported it into the route, into the index route. So this is a little bit tricky. So if I go to app index, so let's look at the routes. So if I look at the index, you can see that it imports styles. This is that other file that has the Tailwind directives in it. And okay, super. So it imports it like the index route isn't doing anything. And then here we get this. We still don't have any leaflet, but we'll worry about that in a second. Because or is there leaflet here? No, this is never, the article is never turned into a leaflet thingy. So something is crashing. Okay, leaflet map. Yeah, okay, so this is a different problem that I'll have to look up. I have to take a break soon anyway. But then this is what I'll return to. Somehow I broke this. And it's possible that Ember leaflet broke it, because Embroider and Ember leaflet have been giving me problems. Okay, and actually I should have remembered that was the reason why I stayed on 4.48 or whatever I was on. But okay, so we see that this works here because the background here is red. And then if I go to text, so to another route, not red anymore. So, and the reason is because, I guess, I mean, I don't know why. But, like, this whole importing the CSS, this feels very webpacky and not very embery. So I'll get back to this, I guess, when I come back from break. So let me take my break, and then we'll continue learning together. Then, in the meantime, enjoy the rest of Terrapin Station. I'm back from the break. I started looking into these embroider errors, and I'm going to mute my mic and just try and do a broader update of everything, because just updating piecemeal maybe didn't work. So I'll still be here, but I won't be chit-chatting much. So enjoy drums.
It's dark on wood and it's damp with dew. Hood out hoods for a moment it seems. Something big and cold has got a hold of you. Just when everything gets scary, Daddy's come around for his darling again. Hold my hand with your little fingers. Daddy's loving arms are gonna gather you in. Ain't no way the boogeyman can get you.
So
You can close your
I'm getting all kinds of this new problem. So it says property location and type router is not assignable to the same property and base type router. I'm not entirely sure what this means, but I'm guessing that this is a function of there's a problem with the typing in the config file, which is funny because that didn't used to be a problem. Because let me see if Anti-Rubber Sheeter has this, because I seem to recall in the configuration folder there was a type definition file that explained what the config file was all about. So let me go back here and open all this up. So if I do this, let's just comment out location type. So if I type in location type, okay, so it doesn't see it as a type. So yeah, there used to be an interface for the environment. And now I don't see it. So let me try and see what happened. Because one of the things I did here in all of these updates and whatever is I updated Ember Clee. That's good. Okay, yeah, so type of location. Okay. So why do I not have this version? So version 5.00. So this is exactly what should be the problem. So if we look here, data number what the file changed here is. So yeah, so there's this environment d.ts file that I bet I know what the problem is. Because I did this in down by the docks of the city. The dirty. Ask me for a dime for a cup of coffee. Well, that explains that. Sure. Okay, so there was a types definition file. It was in app config environment d.ts, not in config environment d.ts. And we can see, so this is the problem that we were having. So it's defined as location type string, and so that's why I was getting that error, and now the type is correct. So this is a little bit of out of syncness, where Ember in the route type definition, location has to be one of those 4 values, but in the config file it could just be string. So they weren't friends. Okay, so let's. Let's not worry about that, and let's add the change. Obviously it wasn't crashing it, stuff was still happening, but and let's see how it renders. Closer. Okay, so to my eyes, okay, so it's not crashing anymore. The CSS is still a little. Is this recognizing? So this is sort of, this is recognizing some aspects of Tailwind, but not all, because I'm basically positive that I didn't, like this flex magic here, I'm basically positive I didn't type this in normal CSS. This has to have been Tailwind. So something is working. Like we can tell your Tailwind is working because all the fonts are merked. So if I go to texts, like Bad News Bears, like this is, there's no CSS here. Like this is, we can tell because it looks bad, etc. Okay, so okay, and then so we're here, and then if I look here, there's no errors here. So what's going on? Is Ember leaflet loading? So main. Okay, so this is a fully function. So leaflet is getting activated, but it's not showing up because the CSS is out of sync. Okay, so. Now, let's get fancy. I think that this is the way to do this. So, like I said, I'm pretty sure that Emberclee, the way it works is it takes whatever's in app styles, or it takes app styles, app.css, and just like goes like, and sucks everything up, all those imports and everything, all the files that you have in there, and generates like in my case, the Wandertext CSS out of it. So, that's why this is complaining here that no utility classes were detected in my source files. So somehow, so I'm guessing this utility classes is somehow related to the fact that all of those files in app styles are relying on Tailwind configurations, and because they'll have like the append utility thingy. So my guess is that if I now I wanted to try something while I'm at it. So let me just quickly go to the anti-rubber sheet and see if before I go.
Got up and wondered. Wandered downtown, nowhere to go but just to hang out. I got a girl. Need money, know that girls would choose. No, she's been
So now if I fire this up, okay, so this is what the anti-rubber shooter looks like right now. Like there isn't much going on here, but I can quickly show off the goofy that it looks like a Polish flag, but I wasn't trying to make it look great. I was just trying to get it to work. But I could show you like what happens. So here I have a little screenshot, and it goes from drag and drop, it changes to drop to upload. So I drop, and now it says bup, 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 and it gives me the name here, and this is just so cool. But if I click about, okay, so here it works. Here the route changes, but the CSS continues. Whereas in the that's what I wanted to test, was that if this was just breaking this on Wandertext, or if it was breaking it everywhere. The reason it's breaking it everywhere is because I okay, create app routes.ts, okay. Skip app templates application HBS. So it didn't add to the router. So this is me, like, this is demonstrating a kind of intuitive sense of Ember, if this works right. So app routes, a new route was added, but it wasn't added to the router, which makes you suspect that it already anticipates application as sort of like the master route. So now if I open up the application route, oof. Why is this using the
the place for such space? A closer look reveals the human race. Full of hope, full of grace is the human face. ways the wind goes around, singing ashes, ashes all around, singing ashes, ashes all around. Watching the fire revolve when the night time falls. Begin the hunt begins, and again the black wind calls. Riding by again, the sunrise. When the darkness never goes in midnight. Over there, slow sidewalks and roll streets.
So I have a local copy of the updated TypeScript blueprints that makes things slightly better. And then now it's going to overwrite the template. So now I have to go here and undo the changes here. So git restore app templates application. And now if I look at that file, then I see what I had before, which is, that's this stuff. This is what I'm supposed to see. And now, excuse me. Now let's see if my intuition is correct. Alright, so now this comes in looking like it's supposed to look, and then
so the they dance, they shake their palms, and the politicians throwing stones, singing ashes, ashes, all that singing.
So my suspicion is that if by injecting the style CSS, by injecting that, or importing it, I guess, into the application route, it'll now show up everywhere. Because I tricked this out so that the index route, child routes don't inherit the index route. So that's why it would make sense that if the CSS works on the index route because it's being imported there, it won't work elsewhere. Whereas on the anti-rubber sheeter, the index route is the parent route, and then there are two other routes, about and demo or whatever. They inherit the index route. So as a result, they would inherit the CSS. So let's see if this works. Okay, so still not perfect, but we're getting somewhere. Okay, so so Tailwind is getting us. So Tailwind is existing in all the routes now. So that was a little bit of Ember intuition. Ember behaved like I expected it to do, though. I don't think I've ever generated an application route. Application template, yes, but I don't think I've ever generated the application route. Okay, so now we can fix this stuff. So now that I know that that's solved, so let me. Oh wow, 6 minutes. I think that's probably about enough time to get this all up and running and to have Tailwind at least working. We'll see about Leaflet. Okay, so all right, next. I wanted to. So let's look at this file, styles CSS. So currently it's just this stuff. So now let's compare it to. That's not how I'm going to do this. So now let's compare it to the app CSS file. So I have this stuff here. So I have import component CSS. Let's change this stuff. Now it's going to complain that component CSS doesn't exist. So git move. Alright, let's not even look at the errors, because I know there's going to be a million of them while this is in the process. So let's just go into style. So here we only have style CSS. So now let's move. Bass just killed the mic on the taper's mic. Bass drums.
Possibility. Ashes, ashes of love. Singing ashes, ashes of love. Ashes, ashes of love. Singing ashes, ashes of love. Ashes, ashes of love. Singing ashes, ashes of love. Roll down, down. Ashes, ashes of roll down, down. Ashes, ashes of fall down. Ashes, ashes of fall down.
It's empty. Coloring is right.
Fade away.
Okay, so this makes a little bit of sense in the sense that these apply classes. So this explains why some of the CSS looks right, but not all of it. So if I go here, and I know so the coloring, like I don't know if it's very clear. But like, this coloring is no, wait, this is the border. That doesn't look like black. Okay, so it's the coloring is coming in from styles.css. So I think, is that right? Apply text primary H screen text primary. So the coloring is coming in, and apply works here, but it doesn't work. Apply doesn't seem to work in any of the components, and this is going to be a bit of a problem because, as you can see, I have many component files. I mean, I can... Yeah, this won't take too long. Just copy this. I think maybe Tailwind Utilities will be sufficient. Let's try this. Oh, I think that's why. No, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so long story short, I'm coming close to solving the solving this problem, but it's after 5 o'clock. The stream should be over. We're getting close. Well, no, we're not getting any closer. It's just not red anymore. It's clear why the map isn't showing up, or I suspect because the div is too small. In Leaflet, you have to set the map to be a specific height. Otherwise, nothing will show up. It doesn't automatically just flood the area. So, this is where we are. I think that this is a really complex. This is a pretty complex situation to try and solve because there's so much infrastructure already in place. So tonight, when I'm working on the anti-rubber sheeter, I'll try and see if I can get this stuff to play more nicely there. And I will like look at, the docs. Maybe that will help if I look at some documentation. But that's it for today. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll make a commit, I guess, of this stuff. And just as the sun's going down, oh, there's a bird flying. I don't know if you can see him on the camera, but he's flying across the river. And yeah, that's